Now then guys, how you doing? Craig here and thank you for joining me on another rebuild. As today, one episode as we try to save Arsenal from themselves, if I'm completely honest, because Arsenal, absolute joke club. Now I'm sure some of you are watching this will be Arsenal fans, but never really been the same since Arsene Wenger left. And for me, today's episode is all about completely rebuilding the squad from top to bottom. It's a very bloated squad. And there's not a lot of talent there, I'm going to be honest. For me, I've already had a look at this squad before I've started filming. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge, especially considering how far away we are from the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, and potentially Manchester United. So fingers crossed, touch wood and all that stuff, but we'll have enough about us to get it right. But before we go any further, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Would mean a lot to me as this channel continues to grow. And if you're one of my subs already, thank you very much for your continued support. It means a lot, shows that what I'm doing is the right thing. And it'll keep me motivated for plenty more rebuilds. So without further ado then, let's get into rebuilding Arsenal. Right guys, so as is normal with these rebuilds that I've done then, I've simulated the season forward to the end of 2021 season. And now we're on the 28th of June, ready to go into next season. I've just been appointed the manager. It's time to look at the squad and, let's see how deep I've got myself in here. So finances wise then, we've got £225 million in the overall balance. We've got a transfer budget of £102 million. A wage budget of 2.5 million. We're currently spending 2.4 million, so that's not ideal. I've basically got 100k to spend should we want to carry on. Projections wise for the finances, balance wise we'll have 386 million in the bank within the next couple of seasons. Expenditure though is going to be 380 million pounds, not ideal. Let's have a look at that expenditure. So player wages totaled 69 million pounds over the last 12 months. That is absolutely massive, and that is obviously the biggest expenditure to the club. Looking at the income, TV revenue's got to be up there. So sponsorship is 106 million and TV revenue is 73 million pounds. So we've got a lot of money coming in from TV and sponsorships, as you'd expect. Club vision then, there's lots that they want from us is to play attacking football, play entertaining football, develop players using the club's youth system, sign players under the age of 23 and do not sign players over the age of 30. That is the club culture and I'm quite happy with that. You want to play entertaining attacking football anyway. Developing players using the club's youth system, you want to bring one or two of them through a season. They may not necessarily start, but they'll be in or around the first team. The 5-year plan is to work within the wage budget and minimum 4-year contracts for the first team players. Again, I'm happy with that. End of the current season then is to reach the quarter-final of the Europa League, qualify for the Europa League in the Premier League, so realistically finish within the top 6. FA Cup is to reach the quarter-final, that's a bare minimum, and the Carabao Cup isn't important, but that's a good opportunity for us to get some kind of silverware. Trainer facilities improvements will be complete, and so will the youth facilities, so we've got them going on there, both expected to be completed on the 17th of November. So my contract expires the season after, and they're just expecting us to continue to qualify for the Europa League. Absolutely zero ambition. We've basically got 5 years to get this sorted. For me, the first couple of years are just going to be trying to stay in a job. As Arsenal, in fairness, yes, they want us to stay in the Europa League. However, even a 6th place finish, I don't think is going to be enough to appease them. So that is the main task is to stay in a job. Looking at the club info then, obviously we've got the Emirates Stadium, built in 2006, very good condition with a 60,000 capacity. Buzzing with that. When we look at the general information, the club captain is Aubameyang, key player is Odegaard, who is going back to Real Madrid, and our hot prospect is Amari Hutchinson, a 17-year-old midfielder who is currently on under 18s. So team selection wise then, like I say, our first team squad is proper bloated. When you're scrolling up and down, that's far too many players. When we look at the best player at the club on ability, Odegaard and Partey, Aubameyang's up there as well, but yeah, Odegaard will be going back. He's valued at £52 million. Wage wise, we're paying £250,000 to Aubameyang per week. Lacazette is on 180k as well. And who is the most expensive player per value? Odegaard, who's going, but Gabriel is £44.5 million should we decide that we need to cash in. We've got plenty of cap players. Granit Xhaka 94 caps, El Neni 84 caps, Aubameyang 73 caps, and Willian, what is he doing there? 70 caps for Brazil. Squad dynamics wise, for the time being, team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is excellent, and managerial support's good. I've got 2 players that are concerned. Eddie Nketiah, he wants a new deal to reflect his ability, and Emil Smith-Rowe wants a new deal as well. As far as top influencers go then, I've got no players that oppose us. I've only got 1 player that supports us. and that is Kieran Tierney. Everyone else has no real opinion of me as of yet. Obviously, I've only just got the job. And when we're looking at the team report, so squad depth-wise then, for me, it's all about what formation do we play. And realistically, I want to play a standard 4-4-2, a good old-fashioned English 4-4-2. I think Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. I know they like to play Aubameyang out wide, but I just think playing them up front, Lacazette can be the strong man, he can hold up the ball, the target man, and then Aubameyang will play off him and just make the runs. That's genuinely how I think I'm going to play. I don't know if I'll end up playing a 4-2-4, these two wide men a little bit higher, playing them as wingers, but I'm not quite sure yet. Obviously, tactical will look at it. Aubameyang, Kataya, Lacazette and Martinelli are naturally my 4 best attackers, with Willian and Martinelli out on that left-hand side, Odegaard and Aubameyang apparently. So we do need to strengthen out on that right-hand side. In the middle of the park then, we've got Partey, Salabas, Odegaard, Elneny, Lucas Torreira, players in there. We've got 12 players that can fit in that midfield apparently. Out on the left-hand side, we've got Saka and Tierney. Out on the right-hand side, we've got Bellerin, Maitland-Niles, Callum Chamberlain, Saliba, Cedric, plenty of players out there. Both of me centre-backs, Gabriel, Rob Holden, David Luiz, he needs to get out of there sharpish, Callum Chambers and Elneny. And in goal, Bernd Leno, Ryan's going to be going, Runarsson and Dejan Ilivev, no chance. So yeah, formation for me is probably going to be a 4-4-2. So for me then, tactically, this is how we'll set up. Now, personnel may not exactly be right at the minute, but I think we play a 4-4-2. We've got the option then to go 4-2-4 should we want to. But yeah, let's play a generic English 4-4-2 and see how that works out. So like I say, squad-wise then, we're going to need to look at moving some of these players on. We've got plenty of players that for me, anything freestyle less are probably going to disappear. We've got quite an aging squad as well. David Luiz, Willian, Aubameyang, Lacazette, all over 30. Cedric, Bernd Leno, obviously my goalkeeper, he's got plenty more years left in him. But I think it's time to just add a little bit more youth to this, as well as a bit of experience as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to just skip forward to the start of the season. Hopefully I'll have got a lot of outs and I'll have got some quality comes in, and then we'll talk about my expectation for the season. Right then guys, so we're back for what is going to be our first season in charge. It's now the 7th of August. Now first game is up against Leicester. Now some games have already been played. Everton, Man United and West Ham have already got 3 points on the board, but that is irrelevant. Finances wise, we've got £48 million still in the transfer budget. We're 100k under the wage budget still, and we've got 169 million in the overall balance, so we're still in a very good financial position. Wages, I was worried about the player wage overall for the year. I think we should come in at a similar level, which whilst it isn't ideal, league position and potentially funds from Europe will help us out there. So we've let some of the fringe players leave from the first team. The first one was Mohamed Elneny. He has joined Ajax on a modest sum, I would say, 10.75 million for him after, we originally bought him for 7.5. He doesn't fit in. I am absolutely stacked in the middle of the park. We have brought a couple of players in who can play, who are just better, in fairness, and even players like Granit Xhaka, who would be a top player, I would imagine, for a lot of Arsenal players. Yes, he's a bit of a hothead, but he's a steady performer. Elneny fell right below that, so like Xhaka now isn't even a starter, he's just a fringe player. So Elneny was the first to go. Kolasinac has gone to Valencia, a player I don't really rate him, and it's nothing more than that. Yes, he's 28-year-old. We got him on a free transfer originally, and he went for 8.25 million. Could I have got more? Potentially, but I just wanted him off the books. Cedric left and went to Roma, 29-year-old now. Yes, he is in his prime, but again, he's not a great player. He's not what I'm after. 15.75 million he went for. Again, we got him on a free transfer, so 15.75 million profit. David Luiz naturally went on a free transfer. This guy is really a liability, let's be honest, and it's very erratic. He would have cost me points. He'd have lost me more points than he'd won me anyway, so he went on a free transfer. So coming in then, the first player we got in is Juan Bernat. Now, 28-year-old, a fully capped Spanish international, 11 caps, 1 goal. Very good all-round. Acceleration 16, pace 13. Off the ball and work rate good as well, which is what I'm after. Is he a standout performer for us, or is he going to be? Probably not, but he is going to be a starter. Got him on a free transfer from PSG. Only played 5 games for them last season, so he was on their fringes, but he's certainly good enough to do a job for us. So Juan Bernat, first player on a free transfer. Next player in is James Ward-Prowse. Now, obviously, this guy's highly sought after. Dead ball specialist. can sit in the middle of the park and basically just ping passes around. Now, do I dare say that he's the English Pirlo? He's probably not, let's be honest. But he does a good job, and we know what we're getting out for him. We paid £37 million after he scored 1 goal last season and got 16 assists. And I'm expecting plenty more of that this season, you know. Corners 20, crossing 18, free kick taken 20 as well. Naturally, he is now going to be our free kick taker. 4-star current ability as well, so he's playing to his full potential. Fully capped for England with 11 caps and 1 goal, and he's a world-class midfielder, media description. So we've got somebody in there. Like I say, that's why Elneny went, because we've got James Ward-Prowse coming in. Next player in then is Tim Castagna now, a quality player. Doesn't look great as far as his attributes go, but I know what I'm getting out of this guy. He's really versatile, can play out on both sides, left and right, either full-back or wing-back. Current ability 3-star, again attack and full-back. He's got a worldwide reputation. We bought him for £33 million after Leicester paid 19.25. 33 million, a little bit more than I'd have liked. You know, I'd like to have been around the 25 million mark, but you get what you're given here. And like I say, he can play on both sides, so even if he's not a starter, he certainly will be somebody who can play on both sides should we need to. We obviously have got Bellerin and Tierney as well, so I'm quite happy with that purchase. Next in then is we let Runarsson go, who was our backup keeper. We've bought in Pierluigi Gallini, so fully capped by Italy, 1 cap, bizarrely. He's 26 year old, 6'4". Current ability is 3-star, potential ability is 3.5-star. He played for Atalanta last season. 32 games, 34 conceded, an average rating of 7.02, and we got him for 7.75 million. Now, it was after Dominik Livakovic from Dynamo Zagreb, and he went off to Manchester United, I believe. I think we had £11 million offering for him. The wages were just better from Manchester United, so he rejected us. But then we went in for Pierluigi Gallini, and I think for me, if Bernd Leno gets injured, we've got a very capable number 2 there. And last one, a bit of an unknown for me, Lovro Mayer. Now, I wanted someone that could play behind me strikers and potentially play in the midfield should we want to. This guy come highly recommended. He's already capped by Croatia, 23 year old, playing to his full potential as well. 39 million he's now valued at. We paid 11.5 million for him. Yes, he only played 18 games last season with 3 goals, but he got 7.29 rating, and he's going to sit behind my strikers. Corners and crossing again, very good, similar towards Prowse. And at 23 year old, this guy's only going to get better. So fitting these new guys into the squad then, I'm basically going to play a 5-2-1-2. It was originally my libero tactic. I've taken the libero away now because I haven't really got anybody who's suitable for that position. You know, my 2 wide men, Bernat and Castagna. Like I say, we've got Bellerin and Tierney as well. So I'm going to be very reliant on my wide players. I've got Partey and Ward-Prowse in the middle, Mayer behind, Lacazette and Aubameyang. Now, that doesn't fit as well as I thought. I thought Lacazette may be more suited to being a target man. He's not. I'm probably going to look at bringing somebody else in there and then having Aubameyang and Lacazette potentially rotating. But that won't be till the end of next season now. I'm quite happy with the setup with the team. I don't want to change too much. You know, we've got teams like Martinelli lying around as well, who could potentially play in Mayer's position. And we've got Saka as well, who can basically just play about anywhere. So that is how we're going to set up. We're playing a positive mentality as well. So we're going to try and take the game to them. Dynamics wise then, even with all the squad turnover, we've got good team cohesion, good club atmosphere. Managerial support though is average. It's neither near there. As issues, we have Willian, who's very unhappy, feels pressured out of the club. We're trying to get rid of him. Willian's not for me. But then you've got Hector Bellerin, who is not happy. You know, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, all coming in for him. The offer just wasn't good, and that's all I said to him. You know, he's very unhappy with how it's being handled. However, Bellerin for me is a £50 million player. And Barcelona coming with a £25 million bid, so it's just not happening. I've said if we can get close to £50 million, then I'll sell him. He says I've failed that. Real Madrid come in with a £28 million offer and I rejected it, so it is what it is. I've now got some players that support us then, so Kearney, Ward-Prowse, Castagna, Bernat, Gallini and Mayer. Basically everybody that I've brought in supporters. Bellerin opposes us, so I've already got one player that is not happy with us. Schedule wise then for the start of the season, our first 5 games are Leicester, Reading, West Ham, Tottenham and Liverpool. Then we've got Manchester City after that. So Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester City, 3 games together. You know, we'd like to be getting 9 points out of that one ideally, but I'll take 6 out of a possible 9. Competition wise, we're in the Premier League, Europa League, FA Cup and the Carabao Cup naturally. The Europa League is something realistically that I want to be winning this season, or at least getting to the final. And then as far as the season preview goes then, we're expected to finish in 6th place. I'd like to finish a little bit higher, but again, the main aim, the main objective is to get European football this season. So if we can stay in the top 6, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We haven't got any players in the Media Dream 11. That's something that we'll work on, obviously, as we build the team throughout the next few seasons. But yes, 6th place is what we're after. So with that in mind then, we're going to push forward. We're going to simulate to the end of this season. And hopefully we finish in the top 6. Right then guys, so we're back at the end of my first season in charge. And as you can see there, we finished in 7th place. Oh dear. We qualified for the Europa League 2. That is poor, isn't it? Let's be honest. I'm quite surprised I'm still in a job there. So we're in 7th position. Form towards the back end of the season has basically got us out of trouble, as we won 18 times, drawn 9, lost 11. Goal difference, you know, plus 22. It's better than Aston Villa, who are above us, and it's certainly better than Tottenham, with 72 goals scored, 50 conceded. Not ideal. Let's have a look at our past positions and see how we went away then. Yeah, we haven't really pushed on. So, in fairness, you know, we've only pulled it back in towards the last game of the season when we beat Brighton 2-0 to get back into 7th place. We were all right there, cruising around in 6th, and I would imagine when we look at the schedule and the fixtures, we've fallen apart. So, yeah, top half of the table, but not really pushing into that top 4. Finances wise then, we've got £103 million in the transfer budget, £94 million in the overall balance. So, you know, as expected, with expenditure and whatnot, and not a lot coming in at the minute, bar ticket sales, yeah, we have reduced the overall balance by quite a bit. As far as the expenditure goes, let's have a look at that first. So player wages then, last season apparently we spent 69 million, and we spent 111 million pounds this season on player wages. Don't know how that's happened because I haven't really invested massively in the wage structure. What about the income then? So income wise, we brought in 51 million this season. For prize money it was 48 the season before. TV revenue, we've brought in a considerable amount more, just over 30 million pounds more in that one as well. And then we look down here, what's this one? Players sold, 61 million pound in, 14 million the season before. So we've done our fair share of trying to bring some funds into the club. When we look at the competitions wise then, we know we finished 7th, but we won the Europa League, which means we get Champions Leagues next season. That's right, isn't it? The winner of the Europa League gets a Champions League place. So actually, that 7th place finish, there we go, qualified for the Champions League. I should have really spotted that when it said ECC. So yes, we've got Champions League next season. We got knocked out in the quarter-final of the FA Cup by Wolves, and we lost in the Carabao Cup 3rd round to Burnley. Oh dear, oh dear. So yes, we're in the Champions League next season. That is the big thing when we're wanting to bring these players in and continue our rebuild. Fixtures wise, I am interested in how we finished in 7th place. So form looks quite decent. Yes, we've got a couple of losses in there. We didn't exactly start off well with a 3-0 defeat to Leicester, but then we have a very good October. You know, quite a decent December in fairness. It starts to go a bit wrong around about January when we lose 1-0 to Manchester City, 1-0 to West Ham, and a 3-1 defeat to Liverpool. And then it really starts to go wrong down here. So basically from the middle of February onward, that's why we bottled it. We've seen that our league position really started to dip, but we got ourselves out of trouble basically in May. All wins there, including a 1-0 victory over Lazio in the Europa League final, playing the formation that we were playing. Meyer with a 91st minute penalty gets us the win there as well. Wowzer, so we got out of that one as well. But the big thing is we've got Champions League to play for next season. So as far as the club vision goes then, signing players under the ages of 23 for the first team. The disappointment with that is we didn't really do it. You know, I've basically got myself out of trouble for Europe. Just by winning the Europa League, it's basically got me out of trouble there. So let's just have a look at our overall performance then. So player stats. Top goal scorer was Aubameyang with 24. Highest average rating was Ward-Prowse with a 7.4. Most assists, Ward-Prowse again with 18. Best pass completion was Gabriel with 94%. And most player of the match awards, James Ward-Prowse with 10 player of the match awards. Wowzer. Team stats wise, we scored 72 times, which is the 5th best. So we are scoring goals, so that's not a problem. Goals conceded though, 50, which is a 9th best. You know, and we are a physical side with 41 yellow cards and 3 red cards this season. Wow. Right, so obviously moving forward then, let's have a look at the dynamics of the squad. Team cohesion, club atmosphere and managerial support are all very good. Anybody that really opposes me still no. So I've got no players that oppose us. I've got 14 players that now support us and 11 players that have no real opinion of us. That is quite poor. But I've got more players now that support us than don't have an opinion. So we're on to a winner there. Team report wise, and obviously where are we going to strengthen? So up front, obviously we're scoring goals, but Aubameyang and Lacazette aren't even my top rated strikers now. Martinelli apparently is, and Katira. Behind them obviously we've got Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Ward-Prowse, Meyer as well. For me, I think obviously we've got to look at that back three. Gabriel's the best player there with Rob Holding. Saliba and Chambers. Kearney, who I would consider is probably one of our better left wing backs, is apparently my third best central midfielder by rating anyway. So we'll look at strengthening there. And then obviously with the goalkeeper situation with Leno and Galini. And when we look at Leno, let's compare him with Galini. They're not a million miles away. Galini's a bit more eccentric, but apart from that, there's not too much difference between them. Height-wise, he's fairly similar at 6.3 and 6.4, so we may need to look at strengthening the goalkeeping department as well. So with that in mind, obviously we're gonna skip now to the start of Season 2, when hopefully I've brought some more players in that are certainly going to strengthen this squad. Right then guys, so we're back for the start of Season 2. And our recruitment has been bang on. In my personal opinion anyway, you may disagree. First of all, we'll talk about the finances. So we've got £59 million still in the bank. We're currently spending about 60k under the wage budget. And the overall balance is now at 198 million, which is natural at the start of the season. Obviously, we got all the sponsorships and the season ticket sales and all that stuff. But we're in quite a decent position. Fairly similar. We were at 226 million at the start of last season. So I'm happy with where we are financially. So first of all then, going out is Nicolas Pepe. Now this is a guy obviously that an incredible amount of money was spent on him, £72 million, and we sold him to Leicester for 32. Didn't play a game for us last season. He does not fit in to the way I want to play. Obviously we're not playing with those wide men, we're playing obviously with the wing backs. He didn't fit in. I'm not saying he's not a good player. Apparently he's not a good player when you look at his scout report. But he just did not fit in, and I was quite happy to make that loss. I knew we were going to recoup it from elsewhere. So Pepe's gone to Leicester, and in fairness, he'd fit into a Leicester side. Next out is Pablo Mari, so he has gone to Wolves. Now, he was valued at 30 odd million. We let him go £15 million. Again, he only played 4 games for us last season. We've got better options. We've especially got better options now, and we'll look at those players when we look at the incoming signings. But yeah, Pablo Mari has gone. Granit Xhaka, another player who's obviously in his prime, but again we've improved in the central midfield. So Xhaka has gone off to Shakhtar for £19 million. I'm quite happy with that. Currently valued at 17.5, so we got our money's worth. And also joining Xhaka at Shakhtar is Lucas Torreira, so he has gone and we got big money for this guy. Now he's decent attributes wise, but £30 million, that was the offer to come in and I accepted it. When we're looking at his attributes, like I say, he's decent again in the middle of the park, but we've just got some better options come in. Next to go was Galini. Now we brought him in last season as someone to potentially replace Leno, but yeah, 15.5 million an offer coming for. He played 2 games for us last season, conceded 4 goals. What more would you do with that? It was basically double the money, so we let him go. And then one of Arsenal's youth prospects, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, now 24-year-old. I've let him go to Benfica. Decent player, went out on loan last season. He was out on loan to Huesca. 37 games for them, 6.97 rating, but a £20 million offer from Benfica meant we were going to move him on, so off he goes. And in fairness, yes, he can play on both sides, but we're stacked with talent out there now anyway. So joining us then, the first player in is Sebi Esposito. Now he actually joined us in January last year. Joined us for 7.5 million. He played 2 games for us in the middle of the season, but we've let him go out on loan to Celta Vigo now. This guy shouldn't really need an introduction as far as Wonder Kids go. He's a really good player. Can play as that advance forward. I wanted someone to play off the target man, and I think Esposito is the man. Not necessarily at the moment, but in a couple of years' time. Current ability is 2.5 star. Potential ability is 4.5 star. Currently valued at 12.75 million. I'm happy with what we've brought in there. Next in is Isco, 30-year-old. Paying him 105k per week, and we got him on a free transfer from Real Madrid. He's played plenty against Real Madrid, and we got him for a free transfer. I wanted someone who could really play behind my strikers. We've got a lot of talent there. Yes, I'm paying 105k for potentially a player that we didn't really need. We are stacked up top. His immediate description's an elite attacker midfielder. He's playing to his full potential naturally. He's 30-year-old now. Capped 45 times by spin. Doesn't really need an introduction. First touch, passing, technique, vision, flair, all very high. And he'll still be able to do something behind the strikers. We've then brought in Christian Romero as one of my centre-backs. Now, what a player. When you look at his attributes for what he needs, heading, marking, tackling, all very high. He's got a decent work rate and his strength's good as well. He's not the quickest with 13 acceleration and 12 pace, but he's currently playing to his full ability. Valued at 37.5 million, and we bought him for £19 million. He was actually from Juventus. They paid £23 million for him. He went out on loan to Atalanta, played 36 games last season with a 7.16 rating. He was valued at like £50 million, and we got him, like I say, for a snip of that. Very, very good player, and he'll definitely strengthen up our centre-back options. We then brought in another centre-back with Gianluca Mancini, so 26-year-old, 13 caps for Italy, currently playing to his full potential. Elite centre-back with a worldwide reputation. Again, the stats that you want, strength 14, heading, marking, tackling, all high again. You know, his mentals are incredible. 13 caps for Italy. We paid £42.5 million for him, which, like I say, is an exceptional amount of money. But we did need to strengthen up the back. From what we've seen stats-wise last season, the central defensive three were the areas that needed sorting. But behind those back three, we brought in Onana. Now, this guy's absolutely incredible. Yes, that eccentricity isn't ideal, but everything else absolutely bang on. 26-year-old, 18 caps for Cameroon. You know, we did get him from Ajax for £47 million. Another big money signing, but very, very, very good player indeed. So, yes, he's going to challenge Bernd Leno for the number 1 jersey. And then lastly then, we brought in Mariba from Barcelona. Now, current ability 4-star, potential ability 5-star. He's a wonder kid and a very, very good wonder kid at that. You know, technically very good. Mentally, decisions, determination, flair, all looking good there. Technique 17. We bought him for £40 million for me, which is a good deal. You know, it's going to be worth £80 million to £100 million in 2-3 years' time. Played 17 games for Barcelona last season with 3 goals and 1. Like I say, this guy could be the linchpin this season. He could be that catalyst that really pushes us forward. So with all those changes, the team cohesion still very good, club atmosphere very good, and managerial support also very good. As far as my influencers go, Rob Holding opposes. Now, he wants a new contract. I've said, no, actually, I'm trying to get rid of the guy. I've got so many good centre-back options now. Holding and Callum Chambers, in fairness, you know, they're on the fringes now. The 2 my English players, so I want to keep one of them, but Holding's the one that I've decided to let go. I've now got 16 players as supporters. Season preview-wise, then, we're expected to finish 5th at 20-1. Still got no players in that Media Dream 11, and that is upsetting with the talent that we've brought in. However, I'm sure over the next season or two there'll be plenty of players introduced into that. And just having a quick look at the schedule, first game's up then. We've got a game against Brighton at home, and then we've got Liverpool in the European Super Cup. With Manchester City after that, Everton and Tottenham, all of our games in August. So without further ado then, we're going to move on. We're going to simulate till the end of this season. And hopefully, again, I've still got a job because obviously there has been a lot of upheaval in this transfer window. We've got another bit of silverware, ideally, and we're challenging for that top 4 place. Right, so we're now at the end of Season 2. And as you can see, we finished in 6th place. So we've actually risen up the league by 1 place on last season. We have got the Europa League next season. Now, we've qualified for that. That's decent. We got 63 points on the board. Is that the same as the season before? 63 points on the board, just like we did the season before. But this season round, we've won 19 games, drawn 6, lost 13. Wowzer. Goal difference plus 13. We conceded 51 goals and scored 64. So, you know, conceding goals is still a problem. Considering we spent that amount of money on trying to strengthen up at the back, we still have got issues at the back with that. Financially, how are we looking? So we've got £197 million in the overall balance. We didn't take as much as a dip as we did last season anyway. So, you know, so at the start of our first season, we had £266 million in the bank and we ended the season on £66 million. So we're in a much more stable financial position. We've still got £151 million in the bank and we're now spending just under 300k less on wages. And as far as wages go, then we've actually spent more money on wages again this season with £117 million spent on wages. Wowzer. We spent £4 million more than the season before. That is mental. What about the income then? So prize money, we got £85 million in prize money this season against 51 the season before. Obviously that comes from the Champions League. So looking at competitions wise then, we ended up finishing 6th in the league. We were knocked out in the semi-final of the Champions League actually, so we had a good run there by Juve. We were runner-up in the Super Cup, that was to Liverpool I think. In the FA Cup we were knocked out in the 4th round by Manchester City. We were knocked out in the Carabao Cup semi-final by Liverpool. So no silverware this season. Looking at the schedule then, form isn't great. Now, we had a pretty decent patch here. Still plenty of defeats in there. But then you get down to the middle of January. I think this was similar last season. That's sacking form, that is, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, you can potentially lose your job there. And form isn't much better in fairness. It carries on through March. And then we have what is a decent end, 3 wins to end the season on, which has probably made our league position look a little bit better than it should be. 4-1 defeat to Juve in the semi-final. What was that aggregate defeat? As we ended up losing 7-4 on aggregate. Absolutely ruined. Cristiano Ronaldo still loving life at Juve. So at the end of the season, then we're looking at the dynamics. The team cohesion's excellent, club atmosphere is very good, and managerial support is excellent as well. We've got plenty of players that want to leave. We'll address that in the summer. And as far as players that are pausers, nobody but Bellerin has dropped from a team leader down to a highly influential player. Cherney's jumped up there. I've only got now 3 players that have no real opinion of us, and I'm happy with that. So there we go then, guys. That is another season done. Like, tactically, just before we move on to the next season, we're still playing with this 5-2-1-2. I may change that up now because defensively we're not great. When we look at the player stats, Martinelli got 23 goals this season and was the top goal scorer for us. Highest average rating was James Ward-Prowse with a 7.13. Most assists was Ward-Prowse with 16. Best pass completion was Gabriel with 95%. Most player of the match awards was Martinelli and Bellerin with 5 apiece. And team stats wise, we scored 64 goals, which was the 8th best. That is poor. Goals conceded 51, which was the 6th best as well. You know, goals conceded we need to improve. Once 51 conceded is far too many across 38 games. But we can see from the form, that's what's cost us. So we're going to move on then to the start of Season 3. We've got the summer transfer window to build ourselves back up. So you'll join me before the start of that season. Right then, guys, so we've done our business and we've had a fairly decent pre-season. Let's just talk about that first. Obviously, we went to Thailand. We had some big wins there, a 14-0, 17-0 and 15-0 win. But a 4-0 victory against PSG, a 2-0 victory against Feyenoord and a 2-1 victory against Barcelona as well. So pre-season's been good. You know, if you've played FM long enough, you know that a good pre-season can be deceiving. You know, it builds up a little bit too much optimism and it all goes wrong. So hopefully that's not the case. As while we're on this screen, we might as well have a look at the schedule now as we play Chelsea, Southampton, Derby, West Ham and Crystal Palace as our first 5 games of the season. Just Chelsea in there, I'd say, that could potentially cause us a problem. The rest of those games should be winnable ones. Finances wise then, we've currently got £155 million in the transfer budget. We've got £349 million in the overall balance. Now I will say before we look at our signings, we have been left behind here. We have not reacted quick enough, or I have not reacted quick enough, and the Premier League teams around us, especially those top 4 teams, are so far away from us in terms of talent now. When we look at, let's just go to Manchester City. So just looking at their attacking options, they've got Osimhen, Isak, Jesus and Lautaro Martinez as they're basically 4 options up front. Liverpool, they've got Firmino, Jota, Mane, Salah and Pedro up there. They've also got Son Heung-min and João Felix that can play potentially behind them as well. And Chelsea have got Calvert-Lewin, Tammy Abraham, Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech and Sancho Mount. The problem with Chelsea is they'll probably play 1 up front, and the amount of wide players, quality wide players they've got around us. You know, look at those star ratings. Look at those star ratings in compared to our own. Not quite there. Not yet, but we're getting there. So anyway, let's have a look at the transfers. So transfer history-wise then, players leaving. So Rob Holding went to Lille. He went off at the middle of last season for $20.5 million. I'll take that. You know, he was no good and he was a player that we're trying to move on. So Rob Holding went. And Lacazette also went. So he left in January as well for $11.75 million. He went off to Zenit St. Petersburg. Played 4 games for them, scored 2 goals. He's played 2 games so far this season. Again, 32 rating there. Not good. Bernd Leno went off to Hertha Berlin, so he was then second choice keeper. Obviously, he wasn't happy about it, so $12.5 million for him. You know, with Onana coming in. He's a very good goalkeeper, Leno, but he wants to be first choice, and we haven't stood in his way. Callum Chambers went off to Watford. Again, he was a player that wanted to move on for the good of his career. £18 million they paid for him. He played 7 games for us last season, 6.77. Defensively, we weren't that good to say the players that we brought in. And Callum Chambers, although he's an Englishman, and I wanted to keep some of those players with us, he has gone. Isco then went, so a player that we brought in for a free transfer last season, played 30 games for us, scored 4 times, but we let him go for £25 million to Real Sociedad. Now, it was a no-brainer as far as the money goes. Obviously, £25 million for a player that cost us nothing, you've got to let him go. And coming in then, we've brought in James Rodriguez. Now, he's 32-year-old. Is he past it? I don't think so, looking at those attributes. Absolutely incredible player. We're paying him $76k a week. He has got a couple of seasons with us, but he's a regular starter that may be past his best. I don't think so. Last season for Everton, 34 games, 8 goals, 12 assists, a 7.26 rating, and he'll just fill that role at Isco's left. Now, a real weird one, Jack Butland. He's come in to be deputy to Onana. Now, whatever happened to Jack Butland? At one point, like, the world was at his feet. And he went to Middlesbrough and he was apparently absolutely awful looking at this. 21 goals conceded in 12 games and 6 in 6 there. And we've brought him in on a free transfer from a team that was in the Championship. Now, I'll take it. You know, he's probably never going to play a game. I got absolutely slated by the press for this signing, so he's got 9 caps for England though. But Jack Butland, yeah, an absolute mystery man. But then brought in Mauro Icardi, so a real quality player, now 30-year-old, capped 13 times by Argentina. 43.5 million is what he's valued at, and we spent 37 million pound on him after he had one season at Juve where they paid 26.5 million pound. He played 16 games last season, 5 goals for them. Decent finishing, decent composure. He's not the quickest, but I just want somebody up there who has got the experience. We've got a very young side. Aubameyang, he's now past it in my opinion. He's got another 2 seasons with us, Aubameyang, but up front, Icardi probably is now going to be the main man. And then lastly, we've brought in Marcus Leonardo. Now, know nothing about this guy. Potential abilities 4.5 star. He is a wonder kid. Finishing and composure very good already for somebody who only is 20. We got him for 13 million. He played 15 games last season for Santos, scored 7 goals. The season before he played 37 games and scored 14. So I'm hoping he's got some goals in him. As far as the season expectations then, we're expected to finish in 6th place again. Tottenham in 5th above us. We cannot be having that. And we still have not got any players in that Media Dream 11, so not ideal. But yeah, a 6th place finish expected. So with that in mind then, there's no more transfer business for us to do. We're now going to simulate forward to the end of the season. So yeah, hopefully we're breaking into this top 4. Right then guys, so we're at the end of season 3, and as you can see, league table wise, we have managed to break into the top 4. Now we've only just got there. We were equal on points with Chelsea. We finished 1 goal clear of them, 75 points on the board. Only 2 points behind Manchester United in 2nd place, so, and a point behind Liverpool. Our form towards the back end of the season wasn't great neither, which has obviously cost us that potentially second place there, as we ended up winning 23 games, drawing 6, losing 9. We scored 82 goals, 52 conceded, a goal difference of plus 30, that's got to be our best yet, and 75 points on the board. Let's just have a look at the past positions to see how we went. So, second game of the season, we were top of the league, and then, yeah, form's been quite mixed throughout, as we ended up down in 7th place at one point. We were up into 3rd place, but then, yeah, it tailed off at the end. We ended up finishing in 4th. I'll take that. 4th position, that was the aim for this season, to get into the Champions League, to break into the top 4, and we've finally done it. Finances wise, as things stand then, we've got 171 million in a transfer budget and an overall balance of 276 million. So we're very strong now, very, very strong indeed. As far as the expenditure goes then, so having a look at the player wages, we spent 115 million pound this season after 190 million the season before. So we've edged a little bit off, but that is a hell of a lot of money. And competitions wise then, we ended up winning the Europa League again. So there you go. We won against PSG 2-0 in the final. So that's twice in this save that we've won it. We were knocked out in the quarter-final of the FA Cup by Chelsea. Yeah, we went out in the 4th round to Sheffield United in the Carabao Cup. Now, I think the aim for next season, as well as breaking into that top 4, obviously improving in Europe. Well, I say improving in Europe. Last time we were in the Champions League, we got to the semi-final. But we've definitely got to win a domestic cup next season. Absolutely. The FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, I'm not bothered. But we've really got to show a better effort, in fairness. We haven't hit a final in one of those yet, so that's what we need to be looking for. Having a quick look at the player stats, and Gabriel Martinelli, 36 goals last season. What an absolute boss. That's up there with the highest goals scored now, I think. So far, 3 seasons in and we've done that. James Ward-Prowse, you know, it's a clean sweep for him again every season. Highest average rating, most assists. Best pass completion is Gabriel. That's 2 seasons on the bounce stream with 95%. Most player of the match awards is Martinelli with 7. I'm expecting that anyway, obviously, with the amount of goals scored. We scored 82 goals, which is the 4th best in the competition. We conceded 52, which is the 7th best. So, you know, we haven't broken it top 3 for goals conceded yet. Yellow cards 56 and red cards 3 of them, which is the 3rd worst. But like I say, I think the big thing now going into this 4th season is to bring some real top quality elite talent into the club and really now start to push us on to fight for that 1st place. But now what we'll do is we'll skip forward through to the start of the 4th season and we'll talk about the players that have come in and the players unfortunately that have left us. Right then guys, so we're back at the start of Season 4 and this is definitely the best transfer window that we've had. We have strengthened in the majority of the areas that I wanted to. We still haven't got that world-class striker, however, we have had a very good transfer window. Finances wise though, we've basically spent the entire transfer budget, so we've got £12 million left. We've still got 255 million in the overall balance and the wage budget has been increased to 3.2 million and we're just spending underneath it. So yeah, we're at our limit at the minute. Players that have left us then, as Kieran Tierney has gone to Manchester City for £20 million. Now that is an absolute snip, and we more or less give him away, but he wanted to leave and he was in his last year of his contract and it was the best offer I could get. So instead of trying to ride it out until January and hoping to renew his contract, I just took the £20 million and Tierney went to Manchester City. Unfortunately, Castagna also went, which is a player that could have played out on both of those sides. We did spend quite big money on him originally, £33 million, but we sold it for £28 million. It's basically 33.5 with add-ons. He played 7 games for us last season. He didn't really feature too much, so yes, Castagna, now 28-year-old, we let him go. Matteo Guendouzi was another one. Now, he was a bid part player last season, played 2 times for us, so we've let him go to Shakhtar for £22 million. Again, we probably could have got a little bit more, but for someone that doesn't really feature and was also in the last year of his contract, I thought now's the time. 25-year-old, yeah, he could have progressed even further, but we've brought in some better players. So coming in then to strengthen out where Tierney left, we've got Renan Lodi. Now he's going to play out on that left hand side, like I say, predominantly there as a wing back. What a quality player. With the things that I really want from him is to be able to cross, dribble and have decent acceleration and pace, and he's got all of them. He can also mark and tackle, which is ideal obviously as a wing back, but for me I need those players that are getting forward. He's fully capped by Brazil, 19 caps, and playing to his full potential. He's got a worldwide reputation, but we paid big money for that. £52 million up front with add-ons, £62 million. Next we brought in a bit of an unknown for me, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Now I've never even heard of this guy. Apparently he was at Crystal Palace on loan, but his goals to games are incredible. So Crystal Palace, when they were in the Championship, he scored 22 goals in 42 appearances. They then got promoted and Crystal Palace bought him for £13.25 million. He scored 17 goals in 34 games. So last season, 26 goals in 35 games for Palace. Is mega. Now he cost us barely anything, 15.5 million. That was his minimum release clause. We met it, we've bought him. He may not even play a game this season, but if he does, you know, I can see him scoring goals. So yeah, Mateta, quality stats, finishing 16, composure 15, very good physicals, off the ball 16. Again, potential ability and a current ability, he's only 3-star, but I reckon he could get some goals for us this season. Another big signing then is we brought in Manuel Locatelli to sit in the midfield. Currently an elite midfielder, playing to his full potential, 3.5-star, 26-year-old, 40 caps for Italy. You know, we have obviously had to spend big money for him, £51 million from Real Madrid. They bought him for 48.5 though, played 22 games for them last season. And in fairness, I think that's a pretty good deal for us to bring in like an elite, world-class midfielder. Yet to play beside Ward-Prowse and Mariba, Locatelli is the main man. And finally we've brought in an elite attacker midfielder, this time somebody to play behind the striker. So Nicolo Zaniolo joins us. Current ability 4-star, potential ability 4.5-star. Like I say, he's got a worldwide reputation, and this guy, attributes wise, is absolutely incredible. Just don't ask him to take a corner or mark anyone and you're on to a winner. He has cost us a lot of money on wages though. Currently our highest earner on 275k a week, valued at 68 million. He's currently a star player, 25-year-old, capped by Italy. £70 million he cost us out. But last season, playing behind the striker, he got 15 goals, 4 assists as well. 33 games played for Roma. Again, we spent a lot, but we needed to go big now. I've got 2 more seasons to really push on and try and either win the Champions League or the Premier League, and definitely some domestic cup trophies. So schedule-wise then, to start the season, we've got games against Watford, Southampton, Chelsea, Tottenham and then Manchester City. So our first 5 games are difficult. Chelsea, Tottenham and Manchester City could be trouble. We've got Manchester City in the European Super Cup final. That's what we want. We lost out a couple of seasons. I think it was to Liverpool. And Manchester City this time, hopefully we do the business there. And as far as the season preview goes then, we're expected to finish in 5th place this time. I'll take that. As when we look at the Media Dream 11, we've got 2 players in there, which is Saka and Mariba. So we've finally got some players in that Media Dream 11. So that is it then, guys. Like I said, I'm happy with a 5th place prediction there. That's better for us. Realistically, we want to be in that top 2 now is what I want to be going for. I'm going to have to dislodge either Manchester City or Liverpool, I think, to push into that top 2. So yes, now we're going to push on. We're going to simulate for another 12 months and get this 4th season out the way. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got some domestic silverware and maybe the Champions League. Right then guys, so we're back, and first things first, as you can see, manager performance. To summarise the board for you, are doing an unbelievable job and you're clearly the right man for the job. I'll take that any day of the week. And as you can see, we finished 2nd in the table, Equal on points with Liverpool. Goal difference is done as Liverpool lost the last game of the season, which obviously made it tighter than it needed to be. But yeah, we finished second. I wanted to finish in the top 2, but I'm absolutely gutted that we drew on points and we blew it on goal difference, which has basically been the story of this save so far, hasn't it? Let's be honest. You know, we haven't scored too many goals. We've conceded far too many. This time round, though, we won 26 games, 8 draws, 4 losses, which is very good. 89 goals scored has got to be the highest so far, definitely. 43 conceded, still not ideal. But yeah, a goal difference of plus 46 as it stands. That's third behind Manchester United, who've got a goal difference of 50, so we're in a very good place. Finances-wise, we've got £141 million in the bank with an overall balance of £230 million. Now, again, I think we're just one world-class striker away from winning this now. Obviously, the defence is more solid. We're very good in the midfield. You know, we spent big money last summer, and I think this season, if we can get a world-class striker in, probably that's all we need for me, just that one world-class striker. I reckon next season, the league should be ours. So as I say, we finished second in the league. What about all other competitions then? So yeah, second, World Club Championships, which means we've won the Champions League. So there we go, we won the Champions League. Absolute scenes. First time I've won the Champions League, obviously, in any of these rebuilds. As Arsenal win 2-1 against Milan. Let's have a look at what drama unfolded there. See if we, like, squeezed our way through. We didn't, in fairness. You know, we had 11 shots, 7 on target. It was a fairly even game. Martinelli with a goal on 28. Mariba on 77. Chukwueze with a goal on 18. I mean, Mariba missed a penalty on 95 minutes. You know, can you imagine if that was 2-2 and then he missed that penalty and we lost it. So, very happy with that. We won the Super Cup. You know, we ended up beating Manchester City in that one. And in the FA Cup, we were runners-up. I'll have to have a look at who that was against. And we got knocked out in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup against Manchester City. So looking at the FA Cup then, we lost to Liverpool 3-2 in extra time. Katai with a goal on 3, Salah, Pedro and Jones. And then Sheriff, one of our regens, I think. Yeah, Sheriff. You know, we're trying to stay away from the regens anyway. So we've had a very good season, I'd say. Now, runners up in the league, Champions League winners, absolutely massive, and runner up in the FA Cup as well. So we are moving on. While we're talking about league positions, just before we move on to next season, let's have a look at the past positions to see if we were in first place for a lot of it. We were as well. We were. All the way up until the 30th game of the season, we were pushing first place, and then we've sat in second all the way through. So we have got the potential now. You know, we've seen it. We're in first place more than we're in second. I know that's, you know, a little consolation. But yeah, you know, we've been sat at the top of the table for quite a chunk of this season. So next season then, that is all it's about. Now, I still like a domestic cup, the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, but we are pushing for the league. So what we're going to do now in the final season, we're coming to season 5. We're going to try and get that world-class striker in. And yeah, I think that is the key to winning the league. Right then, guys, so we're back for what is our last summer transfer window. And we've had a very quiet one, which was expected. You know, a couple of players have left. Got one player come in. So let's talk through that first. So the only player that we've brought in is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, we wanted an elite striker. Would you have gone for Calvert-Lewin? I certainly wouldn't have done. But we're just, even though we're Champions League winners, you know, we're current European champions, we can't get that calibre of player just because we haven't got the reputation. So players like Haaland and that just were not available. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, no, he's not a bad player at all. He's not a bad player considering the amount of money we spent on him. £80 million we spent on him. He was at Chelsea. He scored 19 goals in 35 appearances last season. Hopefully he does the stuff for us. You know, when we look at the attributes that he needs, his finishing, his composure could be better. Acceleration and pace is good though. He's decent off the ball. His decision making is good as well. So hopefully he does the bits for us. You know, he's been capped 42 times by England, 15 goals for them, and he's playing to his full potential as well. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin was the only player in. Leaving us was James Rodriguez, so he went on a free transfer. Naturally, he has gone off to Shanghai. And yeah, what more do you need to say about that? He was basically a bit of a marquee signing just to help us out reputation-wise. We brought him in. He didn't do too much for us, if I'm completely honest. Free transfer, 16 games, 2 goals, and he's gone off to Shanghai where he's already played 22 games. And then the last player to leave was Jean-Philippe Mateta. Now, this was the guy last season that I bought for 15.5 million after... Well, I thought he was going to be an absolute baller. And he only scored 4 goals in 26 games. Now, Palace, obviously, like I said the season before, got 26 goals out of him. But we bought him for 15.5 million. He had 1 season with us and we've sent him off to Lyon. 27.5 million. Very good. So finances wise, then we've got £98 million in the bank. We're spending well below our wage budget, just over a 300k under the wage budget. And we've got £313 million in the bank. So financially, we're sorted. We have had some competition games between the start of the season and now. So we won the Community Shield. We won that against Liverpool. Decent win there. So we've got our first bit of silverware this season. We got knocked out in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup, but we have got the European Super Cup coming up against Marseille, so there's an opportunity to get 2 bits of silverware before the season's really kicked off. As far as the schedule for the season goes, like I say, absolute quality start to the season as far as the pre-season goes. We've got games against Manchester United, Villa, Watford, Bournemouth and Brighton as our first 5 games. And when we look at the season preview, we're expected a 3rd place finish now. We've only got 1 player in the Media Dream 11, and that's Mariva. But 3rd place, I will take that with Manchester City and Liverpool, the only teams that we need to beat. So for the final time with Arsenal, we're going to simulate forward for 12 months, and realistically, we've retained the Champions League. Right then, guys, so we have done it. We have won the league. We've finally done it on the last season as well. We finished 4 points clear of Liverpool. Absolute scenes. AFTV, they'll have something to cheer. Absolutely. God, you know, they're not the happiest of bunches, are they? But surely we've pleased them this season. Champions League win last season. We've wrapped up the league title this season with 27 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, 88 goals scored, 35 conceded. A goal difference of plus 53 and 86 points on the board. Looks like Liverpool absolutely bottled it towards the end of the season with a 2-1 defeat to Norwich and a 1-0 defeat to Tottenham. We lost our last game of the season, which made it tighter than it needed to be. We tried our best to chuck it away as we got absolutely battered by Everton 4-0. Wowza. Looking at the past positions then, yeah, we ended up being top of the league basically from game 30 right through. Liverpool just couldn't catch us and we end up wrapping it up, like I say, with a couple of games to go. Finances wise then, we've definitely left Arsenal in a really good position here with £186 million in the bank. We're 500k under the wage budget. We've got 380 million in the overall balance. So financially we're in a very strong place as well. Competitions wise overall, then to see how we got on. We were knocked out in the quarter-final of the Champions League by Manchester City, so we couldn't retain our Champions League crown. We were runner-up in the European Super Cup, which means we lost to Marseille. Wowzers. We were runners-up in the FA Cup yet again. The Carabao Cup were knocked out in the quarter-final by Man City, but we did win the Community Shield, so we have got some silverware. You know, finishing this rebuild as Premier League champions is massive for us, so we've finally done it. I didn't think we were going to, being honest, but when we look at the player stats, Dominic Calvert-Lewin got 31 goals as top goal scorer, so you know that 90 odd million paid off. Highest average rating was Ward-Prowse, and most assists, 27 assists for Ward-Prowse last season. Best pass completion was Gabriel again. I might as well just give him that before a ball's even kicked. And most player of the match awards was Calvert-Lewin with 9. Team stats wise, we scored 88 goals, which was the best, and goals conceded 35, which was also the lowest in the league and the best. There you go. So that's why we won the league. Yellow cards, we had 54, which is the 9th worst. We didn't get a red card all season as well, so discipline was much better. So just to wrap it up then, let's have a look at the milestones. So I was hired as the manager in 2021. We were Euro Cup winners in 2022, Euro Cup winners again in 2024, and European Super Cup winners as well. We then won the Champions League the season after, and the Community Shield, obviously that was at the start of this season. We were entered into the English Hall of Fame this season, and we were Premier League champions, so not bad at all. For me, you know, we had some pockets in there of really poor form that could have seen us be sacked. We managed to get away with it, and we've come out the other end smelling the roses. So there we go then, guys. That is it. Decent end to the episode as we end up lifting the Premier League crown. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. It's been a hell of a long one. You know, the last one was 45 minutes long. Hopefully this isn't much longer. But thank you very much for watching. If you have liked what you've seen and you've enjoyed the episode, please like and subscribe. It means a lot to the channel. But stay safe, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.